So for step 31, the wheels, we're going to put them all together, both the front and the rear. So there they are. There are our wheels and there are the tires. Now it does show gluing them. I am not going to do this. And it's just a quirk that I have, but I won't be doing it. If for some reason I find in time the wheels start spinning within the tires, that's when I will glue them. But for right off the bat, I'm just going to put them together as is. So I'll set this up and let's put these on. So no point in watching all of this. So I went ahead and did the first three. So now it's just a matter of putting this last one on. And they're pretty small tires, really. But they're easy to get on. So just move it around. It's in. Now on the other side, we're going to push and squeeze the tire into the groove. There we go. So there is our tire. I like the wheels. Kind of cool. So there are our 4 tires. They're ready to go. So step 31 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 32 and we're going to attach the wheels. So for step 32, attaching the wheels, this is where we're going to need to grab the A4 hubs and these little shafts, and they're showing you putting grease on them. Now I discovered with the BT-01 build, I can see why they're saying that, because they actually slip out quite easily. The other thing is they don't quite fit into the hubs properly, which means you're going to need to use the box wrench to screw on the flange lock nuts, and those pins will actually push into place. And I'll show you what I mean once we've set this up. So there are all of the parts that we need for this step. And you can see that we're going to be doing both the front and the rear in this step. So I'll set it up and we'll start putting them on. So before we get started, I just want to show you what I mean. In almost every Tamiya kit that I have ever built, when you have these hex pieces here that are designed to fit onto here before this fits onto the tire, the pin will slide through the hole and then you just pop these on over top. But if you can see, if I put this on, it doesn't actually fit in the hole. And it doesn't matter which hub I grab, they're all the same. If I put that pin there, it doesn't fit. And in fact, I'll show you this. If I put it upside down and I push, you'll see that it fits now, but you've had to actually put pressure on it for the pin to slide in. I've not seen that on any Tamiya kit before, where the pin is slightly larger than the hole it's supposed to fit into. So I'm just going to pop that pin back out now, if I can. There we go. So let's do this front one first, and I'll show you what I mean here. So, well, let's do it the way they're showing you. So we're going to pull that pin out. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the pin itself. And really the only reason for this grease is to stop it from sliding out, because otherwise it would just pop out. Normally I would just say, hey, just put it on horizontally, just like that, so that you can slip the hub on. And in the normal way, you'd take this hub, you'd put it on, and it would fit. Now, the grease, actually, funnily enough, the grease that time allowed it to push on easier. Well, let's put this one on completely then. That did not work out when I was doing that with the BT-01 chassis, so that's interesting. So I'm just going to grab this. There we go. There's one tire in place. Let's just try this on this side. Now, the grease did not help on the BT-01. I mean, it helps by holding the pin in, because you can see that that's not going to go anywhere. But it didn't help with the hub. So if we take, I'll do it this way so you can see. We take this hub, slide it through. Yeah. See how there's a gap? And it's because the pin is larger than the hole in the hub. I can push it on. It will fit that way. It's just a little tighter. It's that you don't normally see that. So basically you're using the box wrench and your flange nut to pull everything together. Awesome. So there are the front tires on the car. So we're going to work on the rear. So we'll do the same thing. So we're going to pull the pin. We're going to grease up the little shaft. Slide that through. Grab a hub. Push that hub on. I think. No, this one's not working out quite as well. There we go. Okay, so grab this one now. And flange. There we go. So we've just got this last one to do. Pull the pin. Grease that up a bit. Slide that through. And we've got our last hub here. I suppose it's good that it's a little tighter than when it's loose, but I do find it slightly weird. There we go. Okay. So there we go. There are all 4 tires on our MB-01. Very, very cool. Now, just one last little sort of thing that is kind of curious. It is literally the same chassis for the most part as the BT-01. And if I put this side by side, the only real noticeable difference is look at your tire size. So because this is the M and this is your regular chassis, Look at the size of the difference between the tires. So, you know, same car, same kind of chassis. This one was built in the mid-rear drive. This is middle-high position rear drive. But it's kind of cool. And then it's a slightly shorter wheelbase, as you can see. So anyways, that is the end of step 32. So now we're going to move on to step 33, and we're going to stow the cables. So for step 33, stowing the cables, you can see that they're showing you these nylon straps. And I was looking at this going, where are they attaching this to? And I discovered something. There are a number of holes in the chassis specifically for those nylon bands. So if you look at this hole by the screw, that is for the nylon band. And then there's other ones along here that are the same. So when where they're showing you these bands and strapping things down, there are holes. Like this one here has a hole too, specifically so you can use them for tying things down. I think that's really smart. So I'm not going to show you me putting this all together, but because I don't plan on changing the motor position on this kit, this is exactly how I wanted to build it, mid-high position rear drive. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to strap everything down. So I'm going to go do that, and then we'll just come back. I'll quickly show you, and we'll move on to the next step. So this is what I've done here. This one is awesome because it's just pulling the cables. These are fairly short leads, so when you tie it down with the zap strap here, they are completely out of the way. It's a clean fit, and then of course this will go over for your battery. Now this one, because I've got a fairly lengthy cable coming off of the servo, I've actually just bunched it up here, pulled that tight, and then this will come around and plug in. Now I'm not doing it right away because I think I'm going to need the receiver soon before I finish the car for a different vehicle. So I'm not going to plug it in, but it's nicely out of the way as well. And the only one that I would be trying to figure out is this cable, because from here to here there isn't really another tie down hole. So this one might end up just sitting loose, although I might figure out another way of putting it down, because with here I might actually find a way of strapping that down to the top. I'm not sure exactly, but I'll figure that out as I go. But when you're building this, it's nice to find these holes specifically to be used for the tie down straps, because that really makes sense and you can get a really clean job out of it. And again, I would do that here, but I'm going to want this receiver, so I don't really know what I want to do with these cables yet. But gives you an idea of what you can do when you're cleaning up those cables. So that means that 33 for me right now is complete. So we're going to move on to step 34 and work on the front body mount unit.